Seattle, the Emerald City. A city that gleams with the promise of opportunity and innovation, nestled between the waters of Puget Sound and the towering peaks of the Cascade Mountains. Known for its iconic skyline, dominated by the Space Needle, a symbol of futuristic aspirations and a testament to human ingenuity. Pike Place markets flying fish, a spectacle that draws tourists from around the globe, adding a touch of whimsy to the city's bustling heart, and the birthplace of grunge, where the echoes of Nirvana and Pearl Jam still resonate in the streets, blending with the aroma of freshly brewed coffee from the first Starbucks. A city buzzing with life, innovation, and a certain undeniable cool. From tech giants to indie boutiques, Seattle is a melting pot of creativity and commerce. But beneath this vibrant facade, a different reality unfolds. A reality that starkly contrasts with the city's polished exterior. A reality etched in the faces of its people, those who have been left behind by the rapid pace of progress and prosperity, those who call the streets their home, the homeless, individuals with stories, dreams, and struggles that often go unheard. Invisible to some, impossible to ignore for others, their presence is a silent cry for help amidst the city's hustle and bustle. Their presence, a stark contrast to the city's prosperous image. Gleaming condos and high-end stores stand side by side with makeshift shelters and tattered tents. This is the story of Washington's homelessness crisis, a story often untold, a crisis often unseen, a crisis that has woven itself into the fabric of the city. The air is thick with the scent of rain-soaked pavement and distant coffee roasters. The familiar Seattle rain, a constant companion to its residents. A familiar aroma, comforting in its own way, yet, for many, it is a reminder of the warmth they lack. But today, it's laced with a different kind of bitterness. The bitterness of a crisis that has gripped this city, this state, for far too long. The bitterness of a crisis that has gripped this city, this state, for far too long. A crisis that has left its mark on the very soul of Washington. A crisis that has left its mark on the very soul of Washington. It is a wound that festers, a challenge that demands our attention and action. We're not here to sugarcoat the truth. We're here to confront it, to bring it to light. We're here to delve into the heart of this crisis, to understand its roots, its impact, and most importantly, its human toll. To hear the voices of those who live it every day, to understand its roots, its impact, and most importantly, its human toll. This isn't just about numbers or statistics. It's about the stories of individuals, their struggles, their resilience. It's about the stories of individuals, their struggles, their resilience, and their desperate need for a helping hand, Join us as we explore the depths of this crisis, seeking not just to understand but to inspire change. Her name is Sarah. She's 28 years old with kind eyes that hold a lifetime of stories. Stories that speak of dreams once held close, now seemingly out of reach. Stories of hardship, of loss, of a system that failed her. Each wrinkle on her face, each glance tells a tale of survival against the odds. She's been living on the streets for the past year, ever since she lost her job and couldn't afford the rent. Her story isn't unique. It's a narrative that resonates with many. It's a story echoed by thousands across Washington. Each person, a testament to the growing crisis. Washington has the third highest homeless population in the United States. This isn't just a statistic, it's a stark reality. Let that sink in for a moment. A state known for its innovation and progress, struggling with such a profound issue. This state, known for its natural beauty and progressive values, is grappling with a crisis of staggering proportions. The contrast is jarring. Over 30,000 people are experiencing homelessness on any given night, each one with a story, a past, and a hope for the future. But behind this number are faces, stories, and lives. Lives interrupted, dreams deferred, and potential unrealized. Lives like Sarah's, filled with unrealized potential and dreams deferred. She, like many others, holds on to hope, even in the darkest of times. Lives that deserve our attention, our compassion, and our action. It's time to look beyond the numbers and see the humanity within. The reasons behind this crisis are complex and multifaceted. Lack of affordable housing, soaring rents, and stagnant wages have pushed many to the brink. The dream of owning a home has become a distant reality for countless individuals and families. Add to that the opioid epidemic, mental health challenges, and a lack of adequate support systems, and the situation becomes even more dire. Many find themselves trapped in a cycle of despair, unable to break free, and you have a perfect storm for homelessness. The streets become both a refuge and a prison, where survival is a daily struggle. For many, homelessness isn't a choice. It's a consequence of circumstances beyond their control. They are victims of an unforgiving system that leaves them with few options. A system that prioritizes profit over people, that fails to provide a safety net for its most vulnerable citizens. The disparity between the wealthy and the poor continues to widen, creating an ever-growing chasm. We meet John, a veteran who served his country with honor, but now finds himself on the streets, battling PTSD and the invisible wounds of war. His service and sacrifice seem forgotten in the face of his current struggles. His story is a stark reminder of the sacrifices made by so many, and the promises that remain unfulfilled. The bravery shown on the battlefield is met with indifference at home, and the lack of support they receive in return. It's a call to action for all of us to recognize and address the systemic failures that lead to such heartbreaking outcomes. The impact of this crisis extends far beyond the individuals experiencing homelessness. It's a crisis that touches every facet of Washington life, including its tourism industry. Tourists come to Washington for its natural beauty, its vibrant cities, and its unique cultural experiences. But increasingly, they're confronted with the stark reality of homelessness. Tents lining the streets, makeshift shelters under bridges, and the constant presence of panhandlers are becoming commonplace in many tourist areas. This isn't about shaming or judging those experiencing homelessness. It's about acknowledging the complex challenges this crisis presents and the need for compassionate solutions. Solutions that address the root causes of homelessness and provide a pathway out of poverty and despair. Section 5. When policies fall short. Washington has implemented various programs and initiatives to combat homelessness. From housing first models to increased funding for affordable housing, the state is making efforts to address this crisis. But, are these efforts enough? Critics argue that these programs are often band-aid solutions that fail to address the systemic issues at the heart of the crisis. They point to the lack of mental health services, addiction treatment centers, and job training programs as major roadblocks to ending homelessness. The debate over the effectiveness of these programs is ongoing, but one thing is clear: a more comprehensive and coordinated approach is needed. An approach that involves not just government agencies but also nonprofit organizations, community groups, and individuals. The issue of homelessness has become increasingly politicized in recent years, with different sides offering competing narratives and solutions. This polarization has only served to hinder progress and deepen the divide. Some advocate for a more compassionate approach focusing on housing first and harm reduction strategies. Others believe in a more tough-love approach emphasizing personal responsibility and cracking down on public camping and panhandling. While there's no easy answer, one thing is certain: demonizing those experiencing homelessness is not the solution. Instead of resorting to blame and judgment, we need to come together as a community and find common ground. Behind every statistic, every data point is a human being with a story to tell. A story of struggle, of resilience, of hope and despair. We meet Mary, a single mother who lost her home after fleeing an abusive relationship. She now lives in her car with her 2 young children, struggling to provide for their basic needs while trying to build a better future. These stories remind us that homelessness can happen to anyone. It transcends age, race, and socioeconomic status. It's a complex issue with no easy solutions, but it's an issue that demands our attention, our compassion, and our action. In a world often driven by individualism and self-interest, it's easy to turn a blind eye to the plight of others. To see homelessness as someone else's problem, a problem too big or too complex to solve. But the truth is, we are all connected. The well-being of our communities depends on the well-being of all its members, including the most vulnerable. When we ignore the suffering of others, we diminish ourselves. It's time to move beyond apathy and indifference and embrace our shared humanity. To recognize that everyone deserves a safe place to call home, a chance to rebuild their lives, and the opportunity to reach their full potential. The homelessness crisis in Washington is a complex issue with no easy solutions, but it's an issue we can no longer afford to ignore. It's time to move beyond awareness and into action. Volunteer at a local homeless shelter, donate to organizations working on the front lines, and contact your elected officials to demand more affordable housing and support services. Every action, no matter how small, can make a difference. Let's work together to create a Washington where everyone has a place to call home, a place where hope and opportunity are within reach for all. Subscribe and join us as we continue to explore the critical issues facing our world, one story at a time.